Welcome to this video. In this video, I will be discussing regarding the Feynman propagator for the Klein-Gordon field. So we have promoted our field from a classical field to a operator, and now we saw that this operator can be written in this particular form, where dx minus y, we named this guy as a propagator, where this calculated the amplitude of propagation of particle from y to x. And we saw that this commutator for space-like separations goes to 0, and it was important to argue that it respects causality, or in other words, there is no faster than speed of light transfer of information. So with this, these all we discussed in the previous video. With this, we now so this was the form of this dx minus y. With this, now we turn to a different kind of object. So what we see is that this dx minus y, it says that from 0, it's like I create a particle at position y and then ask for propagation to x. So in some sense, it captures the notion, like when you create it at y, it's like some y0 time, and this propagation will be some future time. So it's like it's kind of this kind of a notion. So this kind of a notion, like ordering in time, or will be important. And with this thing in mind, we define an object. This is called the Feynman propagator. It is a function which is written in this form, where this t is called time ordering. So time ordering of these fields, this phi x, phi y, what it means by definition. So t is a particular definition which says that if the x0 is greater than y0, then write these fields in the form of order of this. If it is opposite, then write it in this order. So that is the time order part. And now this is easy to see that this is just the propagation, this is just the propagator dx minus y, or the propagation amplitude that we are seeing here. So this thing. Now with this Feynman propagator defined in this time order fashion, but this is difficult to handle while doing the calculation, so we seek for a different definition of this Feynman propagator in terms of integral. But now you see there is something much more deeper. For the Feynman propagator, it turns out to be the Green's function of the Klein-Gordon equation. But for now, we say that this is the Feynman propagator, and this we find an equivalent representation of Feynman propagator in terms of this integral that I have written here. So you see, for the first time, we see a 4 integral, d4p, and this p square that is here is p0 square minus p vector square. And now you see, but then once you see this integral, this is a complex integral, and it will require us to perform contour integration. And in case of contour integration, we must choose the contour over which we are integrating. So there are various choices of contour for integrating the functions. So for this reason, we must specify a contour. A particular choice of contour needs to be specified. So saying that the Feynman propagator is just the integral is insufficient. It is not just the integral, it is the integral along with the choice of contour. So now let's see why this is so. So this will require us to use the residue theorem for integrating complex functions. So this is our integral in hand. I have separated the dp0 part, and the rest of the part is here. In this also I have separated in the exponential part. Now in the denominator, we see this can be written in the form of p0 square minus omega p square, where omega p square is where we have been using this omega p square is so omega p square minus, so it was p dot p plus m square. So with this we have this entire thing, and now we see that there is a pole in the integration axis of p0. So that is minus omega p and plus omega p. But now you see, while doing the contour integration, we complexify p0. So this is a real integral that we see here. But while doing the contour integration, what we do is, we say that we complexified this integral to dz0 suppose, and this will be around the contour. Now if I choose such a contour, so here I have chosen the contour. We will see different choices of contour also in other videos. So once I have chosen this contour, now what I need to do is complete the contour and then just evaluate this integral. So now when I choose this contour, if suppose x0 minus y0 is positive, now I have to close the contour in one way or the other way. But if x0 minus y0 is positive, then e power minus I p0 x0 minus y0, this thing is some positive quantity, but I need an exponentially decaying function over the arc where I will be performing the contour integration, so that the arc will vanish. So for that, what I need is that p0 must be of the form of minus I times something, so that I square will give me, let's see, so minus minus plus, and I square gives me a minus, so it is e power minus some real quantity. So for this, if x0 is greater than y0, I will be closing the contour like this. But now when I close it like this, I am traveling clockwise and there is one pole that is within the contour. Now this entire contour means that contour integral over the complex plane is the integral over the arc part plus the integral that is the real integral, that is just dp0, that is our integral, and this part is the Feynman propagator that we are wanting. But as I have ensured a decay along this arc, I will be setting this to 0. So the contour integral is precisely equal to the propagator. And now as there is one of the pole enclosed, I will use the residue theorem for that pole. So this is the residue theorem. It is 2 pi I. The minus 1 factor means that I am traveling clockwise. And now what we need is that I will just put the value of this this omega p, the pole, and I will just evaluate. So the evaluation I have shown here. So the evaluation will simply lead to this particular integral, that is dy x minus y. So what we are getting is, for x0 minus y0 greater than 0, precisely because of this contour choice we had one pole, and precisely for one pole we got dx minus y, which means the contour choice is very significant along with the integration. Now you see, if x0 minus y0 is less than 0, by the same argument, I will need to close the contour in the opposite side. So this is for x0 less than y0, and this is for x0 greater than y0. When I close this, I will ensure that this arc term will again go to 0, so that these two terms become equal and I can use the residue theorem. But here we will just use one trick. When we put the value minus omega p, we will see that we will get something of the sort of this form. But you see, as there is a dq I can take p to minus p. It will keep this invariant because the limits will also switch sign. So with this we see that we will get dy minus x. So we saw that the contour integration, so this integral, this particular integral along with the contour gives this thing. So now you see, the Feynman propagator requires information about the contour we are choosing. But you see, this information can be nicely encoded inside the integral itself, so that we need not describe the contour at all. So this is what the important point for the Feynman I epsilon prescription that we will see in the next video. So what it says is that the Feynman propagator is enough to be explained by this particular integration with a limit epsilon tending to 0. So this is always there. So whenever you have an epsilon below, I will not always take the limit, but actually the limit is always there. So with this limiting integral with the limit on the epsilon, this suitably defines this entire time ordered, this big definition, without even taking this contour into account. So we will see how this works out. So that's all for this video.